All right, I'm here with Jaron Schneider. We find ourselves in Kanagawa Prefecture in Yamato at Saito Camera. Fantastic shop, actually, really cool. We took an hour-and-a-half long train ride to get here, Jaron, and that's because Fujifilm seems to inspire a madness in people.
You said sickness. It's a sickness.
Madness, same thing. To covet their cameras because they're beautiful. Why are we out here?
Because I wanted a Fujifilm TX1. It's the same thing as a Hasselblad X-Pan, but the Japanese version was marketed as Fujifilm. And they're very rare, and I really wanted one.
Yeah,
Thanks, David Amell.
You found it on the website, and then we came all the way out here hoping it would still be here, and it was.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your purchase. Maybe this is another Fujifilm camera that people will covet. We've got the X-T30 III, and we're gonna play with this here in the streets of Japan. We have a long train ride home. I'm Chris Niccolls, this is Jaron Schneider, and this is PetaPixel. So of course, Tokyo is one of the meccas for finding used camera stuff. And of course, that Fujifilm TX1 is incredibly rare. We had to come to Tokyo to find it. But Jaron actually was using up to this point a Hasselblad X-Pan. And do you know where he found that? KH.com, because if you're back in North America, KH.com is a fantastic way to get used camera gear. They got fantastic selection. You can see what shape they're in. You know that their extras have graded them properly and that everything's gonna be in working condition. And they back that with a 180-day warranty on a lot of their products. The other cool thing about KH.com is it's not just used gear. You can buy new camera gear. You can buy audio equipment, filters, camera bags, tripods. They've got everything you need. So if you're in the streets of Tokyo, definitely check out their used camera shops. They're fantastic. But if you're back in North America, go to KH.com. They are PetaPixel's official pre-owned camera gear partner. So throughout this video, you actually see a lot of Jaron's photos as well, because like Fujifilm, it's great that they were able to get us these X-T30 IIIs for this trip, but it was very last minute. I'm not gonna have a ton of time using them, but luckily Jaron got his hands on one, and he's been here for a few days in Tokyo. So he's actually taken a lot of the sample photos, which is great. He's a great photographer. I'm gonna contribute some shots as well, so just keep an eye out for that. So the Fujifilm X-T30 series is really the gateway drug into the Fujifilm lineup because it introduces that retro-styled charm that a lot of Fujifilm cameras are famous for. I love the shutter dial, the exposure comp dial. I mean, it's a very tactile experience, and it's still a very compact camera. Now, the X-T30 has now gone through 3 iterations. I'm not going to say X-T30 III. I'm trying to say X-T30 III, okay, this is the 3rd version of it, although you'll see that on a physical level it's basically unchanged. We're going to talk about that more, but what can get confusing is where this camera fits into the lineup, because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of cameras now. Fujifilm is kind of crowded with all the camera choices that it offers. So you've got cameras that are, same kind of price range, affordable entry-level cameras like the Fujifilm XM5, but I would argue that that camera doesn't have an EVF. It's more sort of vlog-centric, more video-centric. So that's kind of what it's aimed at there. You've got cameras like the XS20, definitely full-featured, a little bit larger, a little bit more expensive, very capable for both photo or video. And then you've got their premium products now, like the XE5 and the XT50. And there's no getting around it. Those cameras are fairly pricey. They're expensive. So that leaves us back with the X-T30 III now as an affordable camera. And in order to keep the price down, Fujifilm can't change very much. I mean, we've got the same 26 megapixel sensor we've always had. We've got very similar body design, same 2.36 million dot EVF. That's the only way they can really keep the cost down. So what has changed? Well, it's fairly minor, but that's what we're going to talk about. So really what's happening here is the X-T30 series of cameras being modernized now to the third version to have the X processor 5 that we now have across the line with the Fujifilm cameras. And this is going to give us some nice benefits in some ways, just not hardware related. So we are going to get better battery life, which is always a good thing. 425 CPA rated shots in economy mode. It's not with power boosting, but still it is a nice improvement over the second version of the camera. We also get some improvements to the Fujifilm simulation modes. We now get Reala Ace and Nostalgic Neg, which are actually two modes that I do really like. And we also have a change to the handling. This dial used to be for drive, but that's now back to just being the garbage button, old school style on Fujifilms. This dial now has your film simulation modes, and it's very similar to the XE5 and the X-T50. So again, just modernizing this to match all of the new cameras. This gives you some hard-coded simulation modes. You've got your Provia standard, you got your Velvia, you got your Acros, you know, a bunch of others. And then you do also have custom options and then your Fujifilm simulation recipes. You have 3 of those. So you can customize your own simulation modes, change them how you want, and then save and store those on that dial. So this should again open up the popularity nowadays of using these preset modes and messing around with your color and your tone and your contrast. So we've had some rain over the last couple days, but you know, this is about the biggest puddle I can find, and I don't like this shot, but it does still remind me we've got just the same screen on the back panel here that we had on the X-T30 version 2, 1.62 million dots. It only comes out vertically for waist level shooting, so I wanted to turn the camera sideways here, but I'm not gonna get any sort of view, so forget it, it's a stupid shot anyways. Okay, so by far one of the nicest upgrades that we do get with the new X Processor 5 is all the latest autofocusing algorithms and all the latest subject detection modes. And so this is really handy. They're still in 2 separate menus. I wish that Face and I was with subject detection. Maybe Fujifilm will listen to me someday. I kind of doubt it, but at least we now get things like animal and pet detect, and then we get bird detect, and we get motorcycles, we get automobiles, we get trains, so you get all of these modes, and they do work pretty well in those situations. I will say though that the autofocusing experience with Fujifilms is still going to be very familiar for anybody who's used some of the other cameras, which is to say, tracking is still not always reliable. You know, you certainly have to set up the focus to work the way that you want it to, especially if you want it to take into account subjects that come into the frame quickly and things like that. And for beginners, that might be a little bit daunting, but if you do put in the effort, you can make these autofocus very well. I am still finding that in a lot of situations on the street, I'm just using a zone focus with continuous and putting it on the subject that I want and then recomposing, but you do have a lot of different ways you can focus on this camera. And again, the subject detection modes and face and eye detect do work quite reliably. Handling wise, this camera is exactly the same as the X-T30 version 2, other than of course, as we talked about, the change in the dial up here, but weight, chassis, controls, customizable buttons, all basically the same. You know, I do like the fact that we get an autofocusing joystick on the X-T30 version 3. Quick menus right there, although it's a little easy to press by accident. I've been doing that a couple times myself. But you get nice command dials with push button functionality. I mean, really, there is a lot of room for beginner to grow, but this camera is firmly aimed at beginners. We still have the little auto switch here. Flick this and it puts the camera immediately into full auto. You don't have to reset all the aperture dials and everything. Just click that and you're in auto mode. And it goes beyond that. I mean, the X-T30 version 3 can do auto film simulations for you, where it'll look at the scene and kind of guess what film simulation mode it should use, although it'll never choose black and white, just so you know. It can also control your subject detections automatically as well, trying to look at and detect if it's an animal or a train or an automobile and stuff like that too. So if you want to give full control away to the camera, you just have to do it with a flick of the switch. So we just had a culinary experience. We went to McDonald's des for the first time ever. It was good. People are super friendly, like the food looked like it does in the photos. It was really good. So that was nice. But you know what else is nice? Fujifilm has still kept that pop-up flash on the X-T30 version 3, exactly the same as we've seen before, but I like that it's an actual electronic xenon tube, not an LED or anything like that, so it gives you that classic deer in the headlights look that's so popular nowadays. And of course, you do have a hot shoe on top, so you can use all the bigger Fujifilm TTL flashes. So of course we have this lovely overcast day, it's not boiling hot, and Japan always has such beautiful flowers, so I thought I would take a shot here. And this is actually a good time to point out actually another product. I'm not going to talk about this today. This is kind of beyond the scope of this video, but I am using the new 13 to 33 millimeter f3.5 to 6.3 lens. And I mean, this is going to be the kit lens that comes with this camera body now. They're changing it over, gives you like a 20 to 50 millimeter full frame equivalent. I'm mostly going to shoot my samples with my 35 f2. Jaron shot a lot with actually this lens, so you'll see those too. But it does give me a little bit better close-up 1:4, so it makes sense for this shot here. Okay, so there's one last feature here I'm going to talk about, which honestly doesn't really do it for me, and that's fine. But if you're firmly invested in the Instax line, especially the Instax printers, then you will like the fact that this now communicates with the line printers, so you can send images directly to that and print them out. And even more so, you can actually also use the Instax aspect ratios. So I can take shots here and I can crop them down to the Instax mini format or the Instax square format or the Instax wide format. And that way, when I print them out on Instax film, I don't have to worry about anything being lost in translation, so to speak. I'm not really going to use this feature myself. I mean, it is a crop there on the file, but if you are a big fan of using Instax film and you want to make prints from the camera, this will work with that very nicely.
All right, it's Jordan here to talk about the video features on the X-T30 III, and I really wanted to record this segment on the camera, but I forgot the X-T30 series has always had a 2.5mm mic jack. You need an adapter to use most microphones, and even though we're in Japan, we weren't able to find one. And that really brings me to the main issue with this, which is internally, there's some really compelling features for videographers. This sensor is great for video. It's capable of recording 4K 60 with a small crop and a whole lot of wonderful compression schemes. We've got F-Log1, F-Log2, but the body really wasn't designed from the ground up for video. The lack of a fully articulating screen, the fact that we need to use a USB-C adapter if we want to plug headphones into it, all of this just kind of harkens back to this camera's origins as a photo-first camera. But because we've got the new processor, we do get some nice upgrades. The F-Log2 profile grades very nicely and has expansive dynamic range, and we now get open gate recording, so you can shoot in a boxier aspect ratio just to be able to crop into the frame a little bit more or frame up for verticals. But overall, if you're really interested in a camera for video, I do think it's going to be worth the premium stepping up to the XS20, where you'll get a fully articulating screen, proper microphone inputs, a larger battery, and IBIS, which are all going to be very useful tools for shooting video. In a pinch, the X-T30 III can be used for video recording, and the quality is nice. It's just not a comfortable experience.
So we're going to end our adventure here with the Fujifilm X-T30 III in downtown Roppongi, actually very close to Fujifilm's headquarters here. And you know, my experience with the X-T30 III honestly is very similar to what I've had before. And I know we didn't touch a lot on handling aspects or image quality aspects, because the fact of the matter is, when we did our X-T30 version 2 review, we effectively said just watch the original X-T30 video, because not much has changed, and really that does kind of hold here. I've explained to you kind of the differences that we have with the new processor, and some of these are very nice things to have, but effectively this is a very similar shooting experience and camera to what we've seen before. That being said, there's just not much that we can really do to this camera to change it and go higher with things like EVFs or higher resolution sensors and stuff, because then we get into the territory of the other Fujifilm cameras in the lineup. And honestly, we're seeing those just get more and more expensive. I mean, prices in general are just going higher and higher. And when you really consider that, the X-T30 version 3 actually does have a lot of appeal, because we're still around that $1,000 mark. And that really does help, because the next nearest camera is a substantial increase above this. We are really in a position now where we're just not seeing the hardware change much. It has plateaued, and we really have to focus on quality of life improvements like we are seeing in the X-T30 III. Regardless, it's still a fun little camera to use. I love the lightweight design, the small size, and it's still a really attractive camera with some really nice manual controls. So you've got a capable performer here. Leave your comments below, guys. Let us know what you think. We had a great time here in Tokyo, Japan. I hope you guys enjoyed your little visit via our video, and do give us the feedback. We always appreciate hearing that. Also, check out the PetaPixel podcast. We're actually be doing a special episode from here in Japan, so you definitely don't want to miss that. And you can see it on this exact same channel or listen to it on all your favorite podcasting apps. Lastly, do consider getting a PetaPixel.com membership. That really helps us do a lot of the special projects that we get to do, especially the documentaries that we're doing as we branch out. We'd love to do more of those, and it's possible with your support. You get ads-free perusal of the website at PetaPixel.com. You get access to all of our sample galleries, all the JPEGs and RAWs that we shoot with the lenses and bodies, so you can absolutely look at this for yourself, as well as great discounts on KDH.com and our merch store, and you also get money back on the Moment store. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's Chris Niccolls here with PetaPixel saying we'll see you soon with more.